What is going on, Jet fans? Matt O'Leary back with another video. Hope you guys had a great 4th of July. Wanted to take some time to hang with some really good friends and family the last 2 days, so I didn't come on here and do a video. Very rare that I take some time off, but wanted to do that. Same for next weekend. I am going upstate next weekend and really will only be on if the Jets get like breaking news. So if we see a Sauce Gardner or Garrett Wilson extension, you might get a short phone video like Buffalo Jet fan or Ian from Jet Central just to get out a quick news update. But trying to take some time here before the NFL season ramps up with training camp starting very soon. But anyway, in this video, what I wanted to do was talk about some Justin Fields quotes that he had recently on the Jets official podcast. So Justin Fields set some pretty lofty goals for himself in his NFL career. And honestly, I truly hope that he hits this level. It would be absolutely awesome and a really cool story. But let's get to the quote. He starts by saying, "I think I can be a player who has no limits, a player who can help everyone around him get better, a player who can lead a team, a player who can be that guy. I know within myself I am that player, or I can get to that point, but I think it's more for me showing everyone else and proving not only to myself, but proving to the world." Fields continues saying, you look at guys like Pat Mahomes and Josh Allen, guys like Lamar Jackson, where everyone knows they are an elite quarterback. At the end of the day, that's kind of my goal, and that's kind of where I want to get to by the time I get done playing this sport. My brain can't really fathom a Jets quarterback being a top 5, like a consensus top 5 quarterback in the NFL. That's just absolutely nuts. Unfortunately for most of my life as a Jets fan, the Jets have had bottom 10 quarterback play, and there's been exceptions to the rule, obviously, in certain seasons where there's been good quarterback play, and they've won playoff games, and I'm very happy for those experiences in my life, but it's been a long time. And Justin Fields, I think, is such an easy guy to root for, and I'm going to root like hell for him to get to that point. It would be extremely unprecedented, right, for a guy who, has bounced around the league a little bit now on his 3rd team, entering his, 5th season in the league. But I love that this is his attitude about his NFL career and his goal, because if it wasn't, right, if he didn't believe in himself, I wouldn't want him as my quarterback. You have to have confidence as a quarterback and a belief in yourself, because if you don't, we see how much of this game is really mental. And when you lose that confidence, you just don't play well. It's very rare to see a quarterback who doesn't have confidence play well. So, I really hope that he reaches these goals. But my question really for this video wasn't to talk about how I think Justin Fields is going to be a top 5 quarterback. It's more about, appreciating those quotes, but talking about, is there a mark that would be, considered a very significant improvement that we could see him hit this year? Now, again, this isn't my 100%, this is what's going to happen prediction, but I want to lean on the optimism side, that what if he hits that breakout year that we've seen guys have, like Geno, like Baker, like Sam Darnold, and, a few others in recent years. And, let's look at the positive. So he hasn't played a 17-game season yet in his career, but let's just use 17 games because that would be the easiest numbers to use instead of projecting and be like, he plays 12 games but throws for 3,000 yards. That's not really what I want to talk about. So a full season, 17 games, if he's somewhere around 65% completion percentage, 3,400 passing yards, in the low 20s in touchdowns, we'll say 22, low interception, somewhere around 6, and an additional 800 rushing yards and 10 rushing touchdowns or more, you're looking at, 4,200 passing and rushing yards at those kind of round numbers, and a total of, 32 touchdowns, let's say, 22 passing and 10 rushing. Maybe it's even more rushing. And that would be really impressive if he hit that mark. And if he does, there's a really good chance that he's back as the Jets starter next year. And I think he's going to be on the roster next season, almost no matter what happens this year. But you don't feel like you got to take a quarterback. It's different if he goes out and is the 28th best quarterback in the league, something that he's probably been for most of his career. then yeah, the Jets probably are going to be like a 6-win team, and they'll probably be picking towards the top 10 and looking to take a franchise guy in the NFL draft in 2026. And maybe they still end up there, but if we're looking at a season like I just laid out, well, again, you can win football games with that. The guy that I used for a season projection based off of is Jalen Hurts. Hurts is easily a top half of the league quarterback, and there's a lot of variance with him. Some people rank him up as high as like 5th in the league, and somewhere as low as like the 12th best quarterback. I don't. 5th is a little optimistic for him, and 12th I think is a little slightly unfair. I think he's right around the 7th to 10th best quarterback in the NFL, and that's probably where he falls, somewhere in the middle between 5 and 12. But it would be really cool to see Fields get into just the top half of the league quarterback, a big step forward. And if he does that, that likely means the Jets' playoff drought, which I don't think you need a reminder, is the longest in professional sports in North America right now. They haven't made the playoffs since the 2010 season. Likely means they're a playoff team this year. Likely means they're a 10-win team this year. And that would be really, really fun to watch because, unfortunately, in this drought, there has only been one winning season. The Jets haven't been able to get over the 7-win hump in a decade. It's embarrassingly bad. And again, that's not, I think, where my expectation is going to end up. But we're talking about the optimistic side. Sure, you could look at it and go, guy hasn't been very good in his career. And I know there's plenty of excuses that you could bring up and justifiable ones with his time in Chicago and how, maybe things were handled in Pittsburgh, right? Like, certainly not the greatest of situations, but, he's been, as I've mentioned, probably like the 28th best quarterback in the league over the last 3-4 years. And if he plays like that, well, then, the fans who are really down on this team and who think they're going to be, a 4 to 6 win team, they might be right. But if he hits and pops off and has that big step forward that he believes he's going to have and that, Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji and the rest of this organization thinks he's going to have, then we'd be in for a really fun season. And I would love for that to happen this year. But again, even if we split the difference and go, he's going to take a big step forward and is like a slight poor man's version of Jalen Hurts, you can win games like that, especially if you have a strong defense, which I think the Jets defense bounces back in a big way. I think they're going to be an aggressive team on the ground. And we'll see. Training camp coming up very soon. I'm excited for that. But just wanted to come on here today and talk some Justin Fields and talk his expectations and what a really good season could look like from him. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'm Matt O'Leary. Subscribe here if you're new, and I'll catch you next time.